Cool. This is nice. Hello everyone and welcome back to my AI blog in which I talk about my journey to learning artificial intelligence. I'm building a project. Anyway, I'm documenting each little increment of progress so that I just want to leave like a trail of breadcrumbs so anyone can follow along. Okay, so what are we doing today? Many things. That might be a lie. I think we're only doing one or two things. Number one, write a function to process mouse clicks. Number two, send data to the terminal. Number three, put visual feedback on the screen. And at the bottom, I wrote this little tidbit. Understanding this will give you the tools you need to succeed. Wow, that sounds really important. Let's continue. Which version of Pi should we use? According to ChatGPT, Python 3.9 is the best out of the versions I listed. I listed 3.6 to 3.9. So it recommended we use 3.9. At any rate, let's continue. Okay, so this is the boilerplate. So this is where you start. You want to start with this. Have this saved in a Python file in your folder as a template. This imports CV2. It prints the version you're using. Here it defines the width and height of your video feed. Here we start an object. Here we set the width and height. The frames per second, 30. And video writer, it's going to be MPEG. And while true, we are going to accept a frame. It's going to be read, cam.read, and store what it reads in a variable called frame. And that will be how we handle our frame throughout the program. So we store it in a variable and use it. CVT I'm show, so we're going to show, and here you can give it a name. My webcam, move the window to the position, so I have it up here in the upper left. And it's going to wait until I press the Q, letter Q. And for Apple devices, I think this line of code will be slightly different, but you should know that by now. So how do we do text? So we can have a variable with our text. To put text using the CV2 built-in function, it accepts these variables. Here I have them all as parameters, so it's easy to understand. First is the frame. So that's the frame we get from our object. So we have this cam equals CV2 video capture. 0 is the default video capture device on your laptop or computer. So 0 for a laptop is probably your built-in webcam. And the first thing you plug in after that, like a real webcam, like a higher quality one, that might take up space number 1. So, but the first one is 0. And so here is the frame that we captured from my webcam. And here's my text. You pass it in. This can be done dynamically as well. So we'll get to that later, but this will be able to be changeable. It'll be changeable. My coordinate. So my coordinates are 120 by 60. Font size. My font size. My color. So the color is blue. 2550. This is RGB. BGR. It's BGR. So it's blue, green, red. So because it's 255, that means it's blue. Okay. How do we process mouse click events? So here we have a global variable outside that initializes an event to 0. And inside the function, global EVT is defined, a global point. And so the mouse click is going to take flags and params. So far, hasn't been important to know what those are, but what is important is the event and the X and Y position. So this is how you would send this information to your terminal for your reference. If you want to take note of what a left down button event, where you press the left mouse key and hold it down, that event will be registered as a number. As well when you pull it up after pressing it down. And the same if you did it on the right side of your mouse. So that can be stored, and it can be stored in a value and used in your program. So bringing it all together. So here's some global variables, and here's a mouse click event. Again, event XY position, and the text is now defined here. And so if event is in this array, so it will have an array of numbers for each event. So if it's one of these, we're going to say what type it is and where it occurred, because we gather this information and store it in a variable, as well as the event number. And of course, it's very important to tell OpenCV to listen for mouse clicks. So here underneath the creation of a named window, we have to tell it to listen for mouse clicks. So we use the set mouse callback. And so now it will listen for clicks. And then we have this if statement that says if text. So when there's not text, nothing is displayed. But if there is text, then the put text function is called, which accepts the parameters such as frame, the text in question, which will be changed dynamically by the function we defined earlier, some set coordinates where to display the text, the font size, the color, which is white, the thickness, etc. So yes, so let's go ahead and jump into Visual Studio Code and finish up. Okay, here I am back in Visual Studio Code. I'm going to open up Pi version 3.9 folder. I'm going to have an OpenCV file. And we'll have this. So we import OpenCV, print the version, global event variables to store the position, the coordinates. We want to have an event be a global variable because at first it needs to be initialized to something. Here is the function for the mouse click event. We pass in the event, position, flags and params, don't worry about those. Basically this handles mouse clicks and updates text on the frame. Event, the point, and the text is going to be global. And if you press any button on your mouse pad, let's say you're using a laptop like me, if you hit the right side of your mouse pad or your left side, that's going to be an event, and we'll store what happened. Was it 1, 2, 3, or 4? And the position. And we will say, oh, you had event 1, 2, 3, or 4, and the position will be updated on the screen. Here's the width and size of our, what do we call it? Our feed, our camera feed, our closed circuit feed. Just kidding. Okay. And then this is boilerplate stuff. We have mouse click and create a window and a mouse click set mouse callback. So if there is text to display, it'll be displayed this way. Takes a frame, takes the text, puts it in a position, uses this font. This is the size. This is the color. This is the thickness. And this, I don't know. Okay. Press Q to quit. So cool. This is nice. So look, there it is. Event 4, event 1. I press down the left side of my keypad. That's event 1. I open it up, and that's event 4. The right side of the keypad, event 2. I lift it up, event 5. How about that? Now I'll put my thing over the feed and press Q to quit. Okay. Well, that was something else, guys. Hope you guys have a nice day.